Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is your brother Mo Edwards coming to you live from Roseville, Michigan, and I'm down in the man cave, the dugout, and you've tuned into a walk through the Bible. On a walk through the Bible, we are endeavoring to teach through Genesis 1 and 1 to Revelation 22 and 21. Yes, we are teaching through the entire Bible at ltcdetroit.org. That's ltcdetroit.org. You will find all of the links to our Facebook pages, our TikTok, and our YouTube channel. And our YouTube channel, A Walk Through the Bible, has all of our teachings thus far in the A Walk Through the Bible series. We have finished the book of Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus. And now we are in the book of Numbers, and we are closing out this morning. We are going to cover uh, chapters 32 through 36. And so share this and let people know that we are teaching through the entire Bible here on A Walk Through the Bible. I am the pastor of Liberating Truth Church, and we are relaunching our in-person services next year on Resurrection Sunday, what we call Resurrection Sunday. Some call it Easter Sunday, April the 20th. And so I'm excited about that. Right now, um, I am relaunching the broadcast. Let's talk about it. And we have a show on the YouTube channel entitled The Power of Forgiveness with forgiveness coach, Elder Sandra Cobb. So go and check that out. And we have a couple of different playlists outside of A Walk Through the Bible on our YouTube channel. So go and enjoy that. So uh, God has set order amongst the children of Israel. He set the camps in order, how they will be set up around the tabernacle with the Levites and the priests around the closest area of the tabernacle, and then the children of Israel around them, three tribes, northwest, east, and south. The priests are consecrated, the Levites are consecrated. They have been numbered. You know, this is the book of Numbers, so they have been numbered. How many people they have ready to go to war from 20 and up, how many Levites they have from a month and up, and Levi's sons, uh, Gershon, Merari, and Kohath. Kohath is taking care of the sanctuary, and Gershon is taking care of the tent, and Merari has the pins and sockets and pillars, so they know how to break down the tabernacle and rear it back up. And they have established trumpets to let the people know when to gather, when to get ready for war. And so God has divided the land, told them um, who will get different parts of the land as an inheritance, how to take care of the Levites. They are to get cities, and they are to be given the open country, the suburbs for their grass pasture, for their cattle. What else? He's gone over the offerings again, and he does that several times between Exodus chapters 20 and through Exodus, through Leviticus and Numbers. He reiterates or covers the laws and offerings over and over and over again until they get it. And he wants them to go into the land and not take on the ways of the inhabitants. They've already failed in worshiping Baal because of the women of the Midianites. They have murmured. They have been caused to wander in the wilderness because of their murmuring. Aaron has died already because he was not given access to go into the land of Canaan. Moses is told he's allowed to go up to the Mount Abiram and look over into the land, but he can't go over into the land because he didn't sanctify them. Um, in Meribah, I think it was, the rock in Meribah, where he was supposed to speak to the rock instead of smiting it. And so now we're in Exodus chapter, excuse me, I'm saying Exodus. We're not in there anymore. We're done with that. We're in Numbers. Now we get to chapter 32, and Reuben and Gad desire to um, settle in land that's on this side of the Jordan. They don't want to go across the Jordan and go into Canaan. They found some land that they like on the other side of Jordan. So um, they are to go to war with the children of Israel, make sure that the children of Israel are settled in the land, and then they can come back to their land. So they're going to, I think, build a fenced-in city or a walled city, leave their children and women there, and they are going to go over and fight with the rest of the children of Israel, and then they'll come back later, and and so they're going to go over and build cities, and they're going to talk about the cities that they built in this chapter. And so it starts out saying, now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. So after they fought against the Midianites, um, uh, the spoil was divided, and now Reuben and Gad, man, they have a great multitude of cattle, so they want to settle on this side of Jordan. And they said, when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle. So they felt like, hey, this is a good place for us to settle and have our cattle here. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest. Remember, Aaron has died, and Eleazar has taken over the priesthood. And unto the princes or the leaders of the congregation, saying, Adaroth and Deban and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Alela and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel, is a land of cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore, said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for possession, and bring us not over the Jordan. And so I guess, you know, um, Moses misunderstood them in the beginning, and so Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war, and ye shall sit here? And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them. So if you all stay here, it's going to discourage the rest of them from going. You already know their history and how they wanted to go back to Egypt because the way was hard and they had to believe in God for food and water. And now you want to stay back and discourage them. Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. When he sent the spies over there, they said that they couldn't take the land. So they came back and gave a bad report and um, discouraged the people. Verse 11, surely none of them that came out of Egypt from 20 years and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham and Isaac and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. And so we know that he's causing them to wander in the wilderness 40 years, because he said in chapter 14 of Numbers, he told them that you're going to wander in the land. You're not going to go over into the land of Canaan. Verse 12 says, but Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, which we learned that Caleb was not an Israelite by blood, but he was adopted into the tribe of Judah, and Joshua, the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. So their generations are going to go into the land of Canaan because they wholly followed the Lord and believed that they could go in and take the land. But verse 16 says, they came near unto him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones, but we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel until we have brought them into their place, and our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities because of the inhabitants of the land. So they're going to fence their cities in, make sure that they're safe, and they're going to go and war with the children of Israel and make sure that they go into their place. And we will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan eastward. And Moses said unto them, if ye will do this thing, if ye will go armed before the Lord to war. So Moses feels like he has the authority to give them permission, or maybe he sought the Lord. We don't know. But it seems like he's, God's man, and he has the authority to tell them what's going to happen. He says, and will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Lord until he has driven out his enemies before him, and the land be subdued before the Lord. Then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. But if you will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. Build you cities for your little ones and folds for your sheep, and do that which hath proceeded out of your mouth. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, thy servants will do as the Lord commanded. Verse 28, so concerning them Moses commanded Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel, and said unto them, if the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed to battle before the Lord, and the land be subdued before you, then ye shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. But if they do not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. So they have to keep their promise, and they can stay in the land of Gilead. If not, they've got to come over into Canaan and take their inheritance over there. And then in verse 31, Gad and Reuben says, as the Lord, notice what he says, and the Lord have said, as the Lord hath said unto thy servants, so will ye do. So that kind of answers the question that anytime Moses speaks, he speaks on behalf of the Lord, or they're saying that the Lord has spoken and Moses is speaking what the Lord has said. So any way you take it, they had to follow the words of Moses. All right. Now these are those who are going to stay behind, and Moses gave unto them and unto the children of Gad and the children of Reuben and half of the tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. So half of the tribe of Manasseh is going to stay on this side of Jordan, and the other half is going to go on the other half. Why? I don't know. Okay. And from verse 34 and following, it shows the cities that they built on this side of the Jordan. And so chapter 33, Moses recounts and writes their journeys down from Egypt to where they are. And God tells them when they get into Canaan, drive out all the inhabitants of the land. If you don't, those who remain are going to be like thorns in your flesh. And we can relate this to Paul when he said that there was a thorn in his flesh. He says that they're going to be somebody who's going to afflict you and buffet you if you leave them in the land. And then it talks about this chapter talks about dividing the land according to your numbers. So those who had great numbers, they have more, were given more of an inheritance, and those who have less in numbers got less of an inheritance. And so it starts off saying, these are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies or tribes under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their going out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord. And these are their journeys according to their going out. And so he starts in verse 3 saying, and they departed from Ramesses. So they left Egypt. Verse 4 says, and the Egyptians buried their firstborn. And we know that when they came out in chapter 12 of Exodus, that he institutes the Passover for them to commemorate God passing over their houses and not killing their firstborn, and then delivering them out of Egypt. Then it says they moved from Ramesses. And we're not going to read all of this because it goes all the way down throughout the chapter, going from place to place where they moved, from city to city, from wilderness to wilderness, all the way down to verse 49. And then in verse 50, they are told to drive out the inhabitants once they get into Canaan, or they will be thorns in their flesh. And then again, divide the land according to your numbers. And so it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab. So they're not far from Canaan at this point. Moab is like right across the Jordan. So they're able to look over and see it. Remember, Moses looked over from Mount Arabim and saw the land. And so they are by Jordan near Jericho. And remember, we're going to read about them marching around the walls of Jericho. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye pass over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you and destroy their pictures of their images and destroy all their molten images and quite pluck down all their high places. Their high places are the places where they went and had groves and trees and altars, and that's where they worship their images, their gods, so on and so forth. He said to tear them down. You know, there's a song that talks about the Lord will tear down the high places. I'll bring them down. And ye shall dispossess, you shall take their possessions, and you shall possess the land. Dispossess the inhabitants of the land and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it. And remember, the reason why God has given them this land, number one, it's a land of milk and honey. It's a very good agricultural land, just like Egypt was. Not as great as Egypt, but like it. Because remember, you know, the whole world went to Egypt when there were famines. Never heard of a famine in Egypt. And also because of their sins, their abominations. Remember when he was giving them laws, you know, things not to do as far as sin. He said, these are the things that the inhabitants where you're going do. And that's why the land is going to spew them out. Remember him saying that? And you shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families. Watch this. And to the more ye shall give, the more inheritance, and to the fewer ye shall give, the less. Verse 55 says, but ye shall not drive out the inhabitants, but if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land before you, those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them. So if you don't drive them out, they're going to be thorns in your flesh, and I'm going to do to you what I sought to do to them. and that is to destroy them, spew them out of the land. So it behooves them to go in and drive out everybody. Chapter 34, God begins to mark the borders of the land, the borders in which they're going to inhabit and dwell in, like marking the borders of a country or a city. He's marking the borders. And the princes of every tribe are going to assist Eleazar and Joshua in dividing the land. So this has to be done correctly, orderly, okay? He says, command the children of Israel and say unto them, when you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall into unto you for an inheritance, even the land of Canaan with the coast thereof. Then your south quarter shall be from the wilderness of Zin along by the coast of Edom, and your south border shall be the outmost coast of the Salt Sea eastward. Okay, and so we're not going to read all of this because it's giving you all of the dimensions, borders of the land that they're going to possess. And so we're going to go down to verse 13. And Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, this is the land which ye shall inherit by lot, which the Lord commanded to give unto thee, give to the 9 tribes and to the half tribe of Manasseh. Okay, so 2.5 tribes of Manasseh will go back and remain on the other side. For the tribe, verse 14, for the tribe of the children of Reuben, according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad, according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and half the tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half tribe have received their inheritance on this side Jordan, near Jericho, eastward towards the sun rising. Then it says, the princes of every tribe that will assist Eleazar and Joshua in dividing the land. Verse 16 says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, these are the names of the men which shall divide the land unto you, Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and ye shall take a prince of every tribe to divide the land by inheritance. So it's going to be Eleazar the priest, Joshua the son of Nun, and then there's going to be 12 leaders of the tribes that are going to help them divide the land. And so the next verses are giving you the names of the leaders of the tribes that are going to help them. And then verse 29 says, these are they whom the Lord commanded to divide the inheritance unto the children of Israel in the land of Canaan. And so verse 35 talks about the cities and suburbs that are supposed to be given to the Levites. All right, they are to build cities for the Levites to dwell in, and then the suburbs are an open country or grass pasture where their cattle are to graze. There are cities of refuge, that if someone is killed or kill somebody unintentionally, that they can flee to these cities so the families who want to take revenge won't be able to get to them. But then the death of the priest causes them to be delivered from what they've done. So it's sort of like when Christ died and freed us from our sin, whatever high priest is living during that time, when they die, when after they die, those people who are in the city of refuges can come out and be free from what happened, and nobody could touch them. So the high priest was preeminently a type of Christ in that the death of each successive high priest foreshadowed the death of Christ, by which the captives were to be freed. The captives, or the people who are in those cities of refuge, could be freed, and the remembrance of the transgressions were made to cease. Okay? So verse 2 says, command the children of Israel that they give unto the Levites of the inheritance of their possession, cities to dwell in, and ye shall give also unto the Levites suburbs for the cities round about them. So they are to have cities, and then suburbs are open areas outside of their cities where their cattle can be. It's called pasture lands. Okay, and the cities they have to dwell in, and suburbs, pasture lands, of them shall be for their cattle and for their goods and for their beasts. All right? And it says in verse 5, you shall measure from outside the city of the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits. So this is letting them know how far to go out from their city to mark off these suburbs. So they didn't want their cattle and all that stuff right close to their cities, but a little bit out, where they can have their own pasture. Because it probably smelled, right? And among the cities which ye shall give unto the Levites, there shall be 6 cities of refuge, which ye shall appoint for the manslayer, or somebody who commits manslaughter, kills someone accidentally, that they may flee thither, and to them you shall add 42 cities. Okay? So all the cities which ye shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities. Them shall you give with their suburbs. All right? And then it goes down and says, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when you come over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, that they are to also appoint cities of refuges for the slayer to flee, which killeth any person at unawares or unintentionally. And they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avenger, or the person who wants to seek revenge, that the manslayer die not, until he stand before the congregation in judgment, to see, what actually happened, and that a judgment can be passed. And of these cities which ye shall give, 6 cities shall ye have for refuge. Ye shall give 3 cities on this side Jordan, and 3 cities shall you give in the land of Canaan, which shall be for cities of refuge. All right? And then it goes down to talk about how a person can be incidentally killed, or how distinguish when it's a murder. Verse 16, and if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. So he has to remind them, you got to know what murder is. Don't confuse manslaughter with murder. Okay? Because if they murder, then they have to give their lives in return for murdering somebody. Watch what it says in verse 19. The revenger, or the one that wants to seek revenge, the revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer. When he meeteth him, he shall slay him. We call that capital punishment. So the family member who wants to seek revenge, they are the ones that executes the the punishment. But if he thrust him of hatred, or hurl at him by lying in wait, or premeditated that he die, or in enmity, this is a murderer. Okay? But verse 22 says, but if he thrust him suddenly without enmity, like he's not mad at him, or cast upon him anything without lying in wait, so this is not premeditated, or with any stone wherewith a man die, seeing him not, or he didn't see him and hit him, that he die, and was not his enemy, neither sought his harm. So it was a mistake, an accident. Then the congregation shall judge between the slayer and the revenger of blood according to these judgments. Okay? And the congregation shall deliver the slayer out of the hand of the revenger of blood, and the congregation shall restore him to the city of his refuge. Watch this. Whether he was fled, and he shall abide in it until the death of the high priest, which was anointed with holy oil. So we know, going back to when Aaron and the priests were first anointed, they were anointed with oil that was poured on the top of their head. And we learned that anointing oil was not supposed to be put on people's skin, right? Neither could you duplicate it. Watch this. But if the slayer shall at any time come outside of the border of that city where he was fled, the revenger of, and the revenger of blood finds him, he can kill him and be innocent. He has to remain in that city. It says in verse 28, because he should have remained in the city of refuge until the death of the high priest. When the high priest died, it was again, as Christ died and freed the captive from sin. When the high priest died, after they died, the people in the city of refuges could, in the cities of refuge, they could be released and be free. All right, verse 29. So these things shall be for a statute or a thing prescribed of judgment unto you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. All right. And so we go down to verse 36, and they are reminding Moses of the daughters of Zelophehad. Remember, we're in chapter 36 now. Remember, the daughters of Zelophehad came and said, hey, you know, our father didn't die in the sin of Korah. He died because of his own sins. And why should we go without an inheritance because he had no sons? And so remember, God made a law that if a man dies and has no sons, his inheritance goes to his daughters. And so now, before they go into the land of Canaan, you know, the land has been divided. The borders have been made. The city of refuges have been talked about. The Levites are to be given cities and suburbs. And so now they're reminding Moses, don't forget about the daughters of Zelophehad. And so it says, and the chief of fathers and the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh. So these daughters come from the tribe of Manasseh. Of the families of the sons of Joseph came near and spake before Moses, before the princes, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my Lord commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. Okay? And then it talks about if they marry any of the sons of other tribes of the children of Israel, then their inheritance shall be taken from the inheritance of their fathers and put to the inheritance of the tribe that they married into. Okay? And when the year of Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then their inheritance shall be put into the tribe that they are received in, so their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. All right? This is the thing which the Lord doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best, only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So he's changing this law because he doesn't want the inheritance to go from tribe to tribe. So now he's saying, no, marry someone from the tribe of your father so the inheritance can stay in the tribe of your father so it doesn't move from tribe to tribe. Marry somebody from the tribe of Manasseh so Zelophehad's inheritance can stay in the inheritance of your father because he belonged to the tribe of Manasseh. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel move from tribe to tribe. Okay? And every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be the wife unto the family of the tribe of their father. So that's verse 8. So, say for instance, a man dies, he only had daughters. So, the man was of the tribe of Reuben, right? So, these daughters, or this daughter, has to marry a man from the tribe of Reuben so that her father's inheritance can stay within that tribal family. Got it? Verse 9 says, neither shall the inheritance remove from tribe to tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep to himself his own inheritance. Okay? For Mahlah, Tirzah, verse 11, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their fathers' brothers' sons. And they married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. So they obeyed the command, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father. These are the commandments and the judgments which the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. And so we have closed out the book of Numbers, and you'll see that God gave laws in Mount Sinai, and then he gave other laws near the plain of Moab near Jordan. And so they are ready to go into the land of Canaan, but when we get to the next book, Deuteronomy, he's going to go over the laws again, offerings again, to make sure that they are prepared. But watch what God is going to say in the book of Deuteronomy. After going over the law again, he's going to prophesy basically and tell them, you're still going to go in the land of sin. But God is a covenant keeping God. And as I was studying, I was looking at a channel on YouTube that I follow, and I agree with them. God did whatever he had to do to develop, I'll use that term, develop a people who are going to be his people, and he was going to be their God. I'll say it again. From Genesis to Revelation, and we see it from Genesis to where we are now, from Adam and Eve to Noah to Abraham to the children of Israel. And he even told Moses, get out of the way, let me destroy him. I'll make another nation with you. God was going to have a nation live before him, a people live before him, where he is king, they are the people, they are in a land, and they have his laws. What is it? A kingdom. The Bible is about the kingdom of God and how God has made his throne in the heavens, and his kingdom rules over all. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion endures throughout all generations. It is about the kingdom of God. And as Dr. Miles Monroe said, colonizing the earth that he created with his kingdom and allowing man to be gods, to be rulers and judges in the earth, to have dominion, subdue the land, rule over the other creatures of creation. The kingdom of God is what the Bible is about. It started off as a kingdom, it's going to end as a kingdom. We're going to start the first 5 books of Deuteronomy tomorrow morning. I started a little early today because I have a breakfast to go to with one of the city council members, my brother Bill Shoemaker. I'll see you tomorrow morning on a walk through the Bible.